Hey everyone, there hasn't been a video for a little bit because I'm away on vacation, but I wanted to take some time going into Super Week, even without my full setup back in my office. But I've got a laptop webcam here, and that's all we really need, right? We've got the final Super Week coming, and there are four teams fighting for the last three playoff spots going into the spring playoffs and the battle to try to qualify for MSI. So when we look at the standings, we've got Cloud9, Team Liquid at the top. They're locked in. 100 Thieves, I don't think it's realistic that they would drop out. I'm not actually sure if it's possible. It is possible for teams to kind of tie them, but I think with tiebreakers and so on, reasonably they're not going to drop out of the playoffs. But we've got FlyQuest at 8 and 7, and then we've got three teams at 7 and 8: Evil Geniuses, Dignitas, and Golden Guardians. And some of those teams are playing each other for some really big matchups this week. And I want to talk about who I expect is going to come in, what the results might look like in the most reasonable scenario. I don't believe it's possible for CLG to get in from their 5 and 10 position right now. Best they could end up is 8 and 10, and then they'd need a couple other teams to go 0 and 3. So, I mean, it's possible, but I don't think that's realistic. So we're going to talk about FlyQuest, EG, Dig, and Golden Guardians. And if I was just going to power rank these teams on kind of who I thought how I thought these should seed out if we just went in neutral in the records and had them all kind of play a little mini tournament. I do feel that Evil Geniuses is a step above the other three, just a little bit, maybe a half a step. It seems like they make a lot of kind of minor missteps in their games. They don't draft something quite right. They throw an early fight that prevents things. They have the misplay with the whole replay rollback scenario with Immortals and all of that. Like, there are things costing them games throughout that may still happen, but if you take a couple of those kind of what almost feels like bad bounces in some cases, although that sounds like more of an excuse than I intended to be, but I think EG, their fundamental pieces have continued to feel a little bit stronger than some of these other teams. So I would probably say they should be at the top of this 4-team group. And then FlyQuest and Golden Guardians would be kind of in the middle of it for me, where I'm not really sure which I'd put ahead of the other. Golden Guardians, when they're on, look like the stronger team, but then they also just have these really bad off moments where they kind of throw these games away, throw these leads away. And FlyQuest, a little inconsistent on their own right as well. FlyQuest have definitely overachieved what I thought they would this split, and not just in a I can't believe they're winning games and they don't deserve it kind of a way, but I can't believe they're as much better than I thought they would be. And Dignitas, I think, should be at the bottom of this group. And when we look at the strength of the schedule, we'll kind of see like they've had the softest strength of schedule so far. So them being 7-8 in this group is partly a factor of that. When we look at who they're all going to be playing, so we'll start with FlyQuest, who are the 8 and 7 team. They're going to be playing up against EG. Really big match between FlyQuest and EG, and I think that's the hardest game to call for all these four teams going in. They're also playing against Immortals, who you'd expect them to win against, and playing against Cloud9, who you'd expect them to lose against. So if, this is, of course, any team can beat any team, but those would be kind of the more likely outcomes. So if you bring them in, they say there's a 1-1 there, and then what happens against EG? That's going to be kind of the decider for them on whether they have a positive or negative Super Week. Evil Geniuses again have that FlyQuest game, which is a little hard to call. Then they play against Golden Guardians, which I favor Evil Geniuses to win, but definitely not a lock. Golden Guardians, like maybe it's a 55-45, something on that level. And then they play against CLG, and you'd expect EG to play CLG. So that's all teams. So Golden Guardians and CLG tied or below them in the standings. FlyQuest one game above them in the standings. None of the top three kind of teams that they have to play against in this coming week. Whereas FlyQuest have to play against C9. So this is a relatively soft schedule for EG. Dignitas come in, they have to play all three of the top teams. They have to play Cloud9, Team Liquid, 100 Thieves. An 0-3 week seems like the most likely outcome, unfortunately for them. So this is partly why, not just that I see them as the weakest team of this group, but that I also think the most likely outcome is they're going to go 0-3, they're going to drop. Maybe they're the team that CLG can overtake even, though I'm not sure that it's really going to matter. And then finally you have Golden Guardians. They play Team Liquid for a really tough matchup. Then they've got that game against EG that I think is winnable, but a bit of an underdog. And then they play Immortals, who they should be favored against. So weighing all of those up, EG definitely has the softest strength of schedule, but FlyQuest will be a test, and Golden Guardians, they cannot let down at all in that game. If EG takes care of business and goes 3-0, that should push them to the top of this. If FlyQuest upset Cloud9 and lose to EG, then you have FlyQuest EG, and actually, I didn't do my homework to see what the tiebreaker scenario would be in that case, but that could be really interesting. If FlyQuest do lose to Cloud9 and EG beat them, though, EG should go ahead of them. And that would leave an EG, FlyQuest, Golden Guardians, Dignitas in that order, I believe. So that's kind of what I'm expecting to happen is I think these rankings of this group of teams is probably going to fall out around where they kind of should based on a power ranking. But of course, anything can happen. And as we've seen many times before in Super Weeks and in late playoff runs, chaos ensues. And we can get some tiebreaker scenarios. We can get some big upsets. Maybe Cloud9 or Team Liquid or 100 Thieves is a bit of a letdown, and one of these teams gets an unexpected win. So that would obviously be a lot of fun to watch. We'll see what happens and if they manage to do it. But I think the most reasonable outcome is Dignitas is the one team of these four that won't make playoffs, and EG gets into the top four.
Thanks for watching and supporting my content. I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, and check out the channel memberships if you want to get access to custom emojis, special roles in the Oracle's Elixir Discord, and other perks.